Oh my God. This is just such a dumpster fire, but let's discuss the current state of PlayStation and this entire mess with Bungie because a bunch of new reports have come out that it sounds as if Bungie essentially scammed Sony out of billions of dollars. It sounds like all future Bungie projects are now officially dead. Destiny 2 has been gutted. Marathon is probably just ruined. And now even Destiny 3 has been officially canceled. Let's talk about it because this entire thing, it sounds basically illegal to me, but let me explain why. Hi, hope you're having a great day. If you could, please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. So this week we discussed the mass layoffs over at Bungie, and a lot of it comes down to Pete Parsons, the head of Bungie, because apparently it sounds like this guy was a completely awful manager. He overspent, he overpromised, and then he underdelivers and even underpaid a lot of his own employees while buying a bunch of classic cars. The guy literally made people go hungry while he collected the biggest paychecks possible, but a lot of people have been actually looking at the numbers and saying, this really doesn't quite make sense. Like, Destiny 2 was the 5th highest revenue generating game in this year. This June, it made more money than Valorant, than Diablo 4, than GTA 5. A lot of these are literally the biggest games on the planet. This is earning more than that. And a lot of people are saying, okay, well, how does this work? If your game is a big success, you still get fired. If your game flops, then you get fired. Like, people are saying, okay, so a bunch of people inside of Bungie have been doing interviews. They've been talking to the media and stuff. And apparently the sentiment is the fact that this was just a lose-lose scenario. No matter what, Bungie was going to die. They said, okay, well, if somebody bought us, that's great. We can continue to work for at least a couple more years. Whereas if we didn't find somebody to buy us, we would have completely dissolved. But here's the part of it that keeps sticking into my brain. The feeling is Bungie bosses oversold the studio to Sony. Now keep in mind, Sony paid almost $4 billion. And if you read the fine print of it, a lot of it was them trying to essentially ensure the safety of the studio. Like, Sony straight up said, okay, we got talked into paying maybe more than we normally should have because of the potential of Bungie. This is a company that makes a gigantic games as a service project, a live service game that has tens of millions of fans, that has expansions and microtransactions and all sorts of big free patches and stuff like that. Okay, a company like that, it's got to be profitable, and it can only get more profitable. Part of the reason that Sony bought them also is to get them to help with their own stuff. You know, Sony actually they had The Last of Us Online. Oh yeah, that got killed because apparently Bungie said that it wouldn't be profitable enough, or at least that's what the rumor is. There's stuff like the Horizon Zero Dawn online game that apparently is coming out sometime late this year or late next year or whatever like that. That's stuff that apparently Bungie was going to help with. The idea was Sony was told, okay, pay a huge chunk. We'll keep all of the developers. They'll all work for you. We'll be able to move them around and use our incredible lineage of making big, profitable worlds, and we'll channel that into Sony brands. And it turns out that all of that was a lie. They were straight up lied to. If you read it, it sounds like almost that they even kept hiring. Like, Bungie hired people while they were going broke to increase the company value, because they had almost 1,000 employees all working on a single game. The idea was them being like, okay, you're buying 1,000 Bungie employees contracts. That means it's definitely worth $3.6 billion, and it's all gone completely up in flames. Yesterday, they officially leaked. This came out from a lot of very reputable sources. Destiny 2 is not going to get any more expansions, which means that pretty much Destiny 2 is completely dead. Destiny 3 is no longer in development at all. It's bizarre because these games are huge. Like, the part of this, there's more stuff we're going to get into, but personally, the reason I'm just so morbidly fascinated by this car accident is the fact that how does this happen? How can Destiny have existed for so many years and then completely implode because of bad business decisions? They had so many talented people that dedicated their entire adult lives to making this game as big and cool as possible. Think about the fact that, like, Destiny has been around for a decade. I used to do a ton of Destiny content. I have, like, so many videos actually playing it, talking about it. Like, it is weird the fact that this could exist for so many years and then just quietly get canceled because they're not hitting quotas. I guess that's the weird part of all this is, like, okay, think about all the Destiny fans. Think about all the people that only play Destiny and it's just gone. And there isn't anything even in the future to look forward to. The layoffs had nothing to do with revenue. So many people are just talking about the fact that, like, it is super weird that they couldn't even find a way to continue this. Like, yeah, there's talks about the fact that Herman Hulst is taking it over, that the head of PlayStation is officially making this a PlayStation studio, but I feel like that's not even enough. Like, it is bizarre to me that Bungie, as we know it, as we love it, is completely gone. These are the major people at Bungie. This guy, Luke Smith and Mark Noseworthy, these people are Bungie. They are literally Bungie. They are instrumental in every banger release we've ever had. The dynamic duo moved mountains for the game. For many of us, Luke was a friend and a mentor who championed the game and hobby. Luke always wanted to make sure we honored the time honored the time folks spent in our world. These are the people that made Bungie Bungie. And they're all gone. They've all been removed. And I guess I'm still just in a spot where I almost feel like this does sound like a scam. It does sound like the people at the top, the actual people that were signing checks, that were designing budgets, that were putting people on particular projects, the guys at the top didn't care about the gamers from the very start. I don't think they cared about any sort of actual functionality or fun or even quotas and stuff like that. They just cared about, all right, how profitable do we look? Can we trick someone into buying us? And Sony got screwed. I'm just going to say something super drastic here. This failure feels like a cascade failure. It feels to me like multiple layers of suck. The fact that Bungie was partially purchased to help with other games as a service initiatives. The fact that they bought them specifically to help with ideas like The Last of Us Online, which now is gone, and this is gone. It feels like this buyout, the lies of the management, has now cost us how many PlayStation games? How many lives are ruined? How many people got completely screwed over forever? How many portfolios? How many freaking people are just completely out of house and home so that Pete Parsons can buy a couple more freaking Corvettes? Excuse my frustration. It is just the fact that the gaming industry is such an odd spot where you can make something with legacy, with tradition, with a long lineage. There is so much stuff that Bungie has made. They're the inventors of Halo, and it's all just gone. It's been completely put up in smoke. You can say that it sucks when any studio shuts down, but this almost feels more pathetic, more malicious about the fact that they're just quietly gutting the studio and pretending everything is normal. Now, I'm sure somebody in the comment section, I feel like the comment section is going to be 99% positive and on my side. Hopefully this video gets a couple thousand likes, but there are occasionally people who say, oh, the studio's fine. You're being too doom and gloom. They fired 35% of the studio. They fired the people that make the games we love. I do not care about a PR statement at this point. Sometimes people go, oh, let's wait for Sony to respond. Let's wait for the Microsoft statement. Let's wait for the Nintendo statement. At this point, I trust the developers that are straight up screaming from the rooftops that this was a big scam. that Destiny 2, that Destiny 1, that Destiny 3, the games that we knew, that we loved, that we were excited about, they're just dead. They were dead for no reason, and apparently they've been dead for a very long time, and I'll be honest, that just sucks. I don't even have a closing statement. I don't even have a point. I just wanted to say this blows in a way that I feel like we're going to see a lot more of this. I think we're going to see a lot more studios that get bought, that get gutted, that completely fall apart, and nobody wins. We're just losing Destiny. We're not gaining new PlayStation stuff. But what do you guys think about this? Tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you could, please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Oh yeah, by the way, here let me end with a positive note. I'm really into weightlifting. You can see my little teeny tiny muscles here. I love strength stuff. I benched 225 pounds for the first time yesterday, which, yeah, okay, I'm not the strongest guy ever, but I've never benched 225 before, so that felt incredibly cool to my little stick ass. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.